Greetings, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and multiverse. My name is not important. So, after I got my rant out of my system about the alt-right, I feel like now I need to kind of get some other things off my chest because it's nearly Christmas, and Christmas, that time of the year where we all sort of turn to each other and say, "Well done, everyone, we're halfway out of the dark." And I kind of feel like this is halfway out of the dark. I mean, yes, there is a lot of darkness yet to come, particularly geopolitically. But whilst I may be back in the same old proverbial shitter, in the sense that the job fell through due to essentially my boss thinking I was negotiating when really I was pointing out the salient facts that I was told to apply for an apprenticeship by Universal Credit, and I shouldn't have been because I have a degree and thus it's not possible to get the funding for it. But despite that, I'm getting the 4 days work that I did is going to be paid on apprentice wages because that's what the employee thought she was going to be paying. Because apparently that's how that works. You can pay someone less than the minimum wage so long as you thought you were only going to be paying them less than the minimum wage. But that whole situation sort of lit a fire up underneath me, in the sense that it reminded me why I am a regulated capitalist. Why? Well, okay, I'm not anymore because, I've lost faith that capitalism can be saved, but why I have ever been a regulated capitalist. Because I like working. I like earning money. I like the system when it works. And even a minimum wage administration job is the system seeming to work enough for me to like it. That doesn't mean that I'm not uncritical of all the things that it's doing wrong, but I'm not gonna bloody rant about the alt-right again and their idiocy of like, yes, you only hold your complex moral and ethical views because you are poor. If you were rich, then of course you would see that really it is perfectly fine to fuck over everybody who isn't rich. And I don't know why, in my mind, these bastard alt-right fuckwits are French. Because surely the French would understand most clearly, but I suppose maybe it's just a result of too much Blackadder and Goodnight Sweetheart. The accent, the zany accents, don't you know? But yeah, I like working. I want to work. And it really isn't as simple as getting a job, right? Like, or rather, it is, But, you know, the whole getting a job thing isn't simple. You know, the whole getting a job thing involves sending out a fuck ton of applications, and then on each occasion them all saying nah, and then finally maybe getting through to an interview stage, and then people then saying nah, we don't want you, nah. Or as I have just witnessed, you know, you go through the interview, that goes okay, then you just start work, and then they go, no, sorry, changed my mind, sorry. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's really fucking annoying, you know. Like, if you're gonna have a system which is like, we want you to work instead of being on welfare, then, you know, make it fucking easy to get a job, right? Don't just cry, get a job, get a job, get a job. Actually fucking make it easy to get a fucking job. I mean, I know it's just incompetence, and I know that it's, you know, about people wanting to make money, and so they make alliances with other people who want to make money, and so therefore it's a case of, well, we need to have we need to have lots of money for all our rich chums, therefore it means we have to do tax cuts, but we've got to have, at the same time, we can't just go in, do a whole load of tax cuts for the rich because we're going to get kicked out, so we have to do something. I understand the situation, right? I am not blind to the reality of why the Conservatives have instituted the policies the way they have instituted them. But it does piss me off. Because I am one of many, many millions who is fucking shafted by them. But enough of that ranting. There is nothing reliable like change. And right now, lots of things are changing. Politically, Trump and Brexit just threw everything up into the air, and sort of even the establishment politicians right now are just sort of scrambling to sort of see where the fuck is this all gonna fall. So to be honest, at the moment, it's even if I was in a position to start delivering sort of political news commentary, it wouldn't really work, because nobody has a fucking clue what's going on right now. Everybody is just going, fuck, we're all gonna die, fuck, what are we gonna do? So politically, there's very little that I can actually offer. But personally, things are changing as well, you know. In a sense that, you know, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, in other earlier videos, yeah, my parents are divorcing, and therefore this house is going to be sold, or rather, it's going to be put in the long, complex process of being sold, and then me and Mum are gonna have to find somewhere to fucking live, and that's gonna take months of just lengthy stuff, and that means that stuff's gonna get chucked out, and because obviously we're not gonna have this big house, and also at the same time, the fucking bed, the bed that I have ranted about before at length. Let me explain what has happened with the bed. Okay. I am 6 foot. I am more than 13 stone. I was 13 stone last time I checked, and that was before I went on the testosterone, and before I decided to, well, before I got the job and decided it would be a brilliant idea to have 2 pizzas, then a chicken kebab and a doner kebab, and then 2 more pizzas, and then a KFC chicken triple by myself, and then more pizzas. And so basically, I'm heavy. Okay. I'm big and I'm heavy. And I know this. I know this. So when I was looking at beds after I originally moved into this room, and we looked about getting a bed because my sister had broken her bed by dancing on it. Or at least I pray to fuck it was dancing. Um, um, After that bed was broken and we needed to get this new bed, I was aware of how heavy I was. So I was like, we are going to get a metal bed. But because my mum was going to pay, we 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 got a wooden bed, a wooden divan bed. And then, because I asked for one extra drawer, she stormed out, and I, like a fucking moron, said, "It's okay, I can pay for this, she'll pay me back later." I promptly then walked out of the store, had a bad fall, and ended up having to go to the accident and emergency for essentially a fractured wrist, because I fell awkwardly, and my mum still hasn't paid me back. Months later, many months later. Totally not bitter or anything, and particularly not bitter that now, because we got a divan bed because she was going to fucking pay for it when she didn't, the bed is now broken. If I had known I was going to be fucking paying for it, I would have bought a fucking metal bed. But no, because Mum was going to pay for it, even though I ended up paying for it, it is now a wooden bed. And because it is a wooden bed, it could not take 6 foot and 13 plus stone of me. So it's broken, and it is falling to bits. And it's a hell of a fucking thing to go to sleep on a bed that is falling to bits. You know, people have this, feeling, don't they, of sort of they're going to fall asleep, and then they have this sensation of falling, and they're like, that's my sleep. That's my sleep, and it's not a sensation of falling caused by some complex brain chemistry. No, it's a sensation of falling caused by the fact that my fucking bed is broken, and I am a fucking huge fucker, and it's just getting worse and worse. And I'm pretty darn certain it's going to end up um, broken beyond repair before the house is sold. So therefore, I'm going to have to figure out what the fuck to do with this situation, because my choices are either buy a new bed barely a year or two after we got the first, buy a new bed barely a year or two after we got the first, um, and face the fact that we might not even have the room for it in whatever the new house is going to be, in a sort of a few months from now, or try to find some fucking way to limp on with this. My mother, my ever so kind and lovely mother, did suggest one possible solution, which is that we swap rooms and that my mum sleeps on this bed. Because she's not 6 foot, so she wouldn't break the bed anymore. No way am I giving up this room. No way am I letting that woman sleep in that fucking bed that I paid for, despite myself. The alt-right fucking wish they could create the sheer level of animosity I feel towards her over this fucking bed. But I have found a solution, which is that I have a sofa bed downstairs, a double sofa bed, and I just checked. It can fit through the door. So, what I have done just now before I started recording is there was, and I think I've referred to this before, there was a sort of chest of drawers, tall wardrobe cupboardy thing, right? That was right about there. And it was essentially placed such that um, such that the door could be open, but that people could not see into the room. But I don't need that anymore because one, the fucking cat doesn't stop by the room, so I don't need to worry about that issue of privacy. And two, since the bed is breaking and therefore things are going to be moved anyway, and it's going to be easier to move because it's a heck of a lot easier to move a mattress than it is to move, an entire fucking bed. Since that's going to happen, I'm essentially going to flip this, right? The reason the people who watch my videos, and they've watched, a lot of my videos, particularly my past videos, they get confused and they get curious as to what the fuck's been happening behind me. Because originally, when I started recording in this room, there really wasn't good curtains, right? And essentially my room faces out into incredibly bright sunlight. Weirdly, it's brighter in the winter. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's because the winter makes it rain more and therefore there aren't as many clouds, because the clouds sort of drop whatever they're carrying and disperse sooner. I don't know. But suffice to say, it gets blinding. Okay, such that you would not be able to see me at all. Even with a backlight and a front light, you would not be able to see me because of the light streaming through, even with the curtains closed. So to help the situation somewhat, I put up essentially my sister's old duvet case over the shitty curtains to act as a sort of extra layer and attempt to darken the room so that the recordings could work. And then, of course, eventually I just ended up getting blackout blinds. Incidentally, the whole, light thing is an issue not just for recording, but also for the fact that, my sleeping pattern is less of a pattern and more of a cycle, as in cycling round and round and round and round and round the clock. Clockwise, generally. But what I am hoping to do is to essentially move this desk so that it is pointing out the pointing towards the window, or rather, I want to move it so that I will be sat at the desk looking outside of the window, and this camera will be pointed at this wall. And the way I will sort of do that is I will move the sofa, well, the bed, sofa bed, to here, to where the desk currently is. So that way I will be able to sit on the bed looking at the desk with the actual sort of TV that I watch stuff on being that much nearer, and the sort of computer being that much nearer too. This is quite a difficult task because it involves moving of furniture, and moving of furniture is a task that is somewhat difficult because, of course, people sleep in this house. And I, because of my Kalman syndrome and growth hormone deficiency, don't have a great amount of energy. And because of my sleeping cycle, when I do have energy, it's not always at the right it's not always at a convenient time, and I can't exactly move furniture at 3 o'clock at night. But circumstances have forced my hand, so the move is beginning. And to a certain extent, with the breaking of the bed, it makes things easier because it's like, well, I don't need this table. I don't need that sort of mini chest of drawers, because those are there whilst the idea is that the bed will be high enough that it's on that sort of level, right? Well, if the divan is getting chucked, then this is going to be lower. I mean, okay, with the sofa bed, it's going to be higher, but it's going to be like from there, it's going to be to there. I'm not. You can't even see that. So let's try it there to there. It's going to be at about this height that the actual mattress is at. So I won't really need to have the tables. And the sides will be in different positions. But suffice to say, it's now reached a point where moving can be possible. But it's more than just about that. It's more than just the moving. I've been struggling for a while as to my writing. Because essentially when I started working, okay, I suppose I should explain more in detail. Okay, things were going well in my writing, reasonably, despite sort of attempts by trolls to derail it. Things were going well in my writing, reasonably, and then I sort of took a break to, catch up on things, to watch, political shows and what have you. And then, basically, that the whole Trump thing happened. That knocked me off guard. And then I got the job. Because, I mean, bear in mind, like, this, again, took a whole sort of thing to happen. And when I got the job, it's like I didn't need to write anymore. I could just be happy doing my own thing. And now, of course, I don't have the job anymore, and it's like, okay, writing is back to being my purpose. This is why I live. Um, but yeah, things didn't work out with the job, so I am back to sort of status quo. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm being so very sort of distracted and letting things drift and stuff, is part of the reason that I haven't been doing many vlogs. Part of the reason that I haven't been writing is that with all this stuff that is changing, I'm changing as well. And you know, I've had a cold. I've had so many experiences. I've watched so many things, and my mind has changed a lot. I've changed a lot, and I'm looking at this room, and I am thinking. I mean, obviously, I just moved that piece of furniture out, and I'm thinking, actually, yeah, I could move this. I mean, I could genuinely do this, and so that's why I'm just drifting off occasionally, and just like, yes, 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 that to there, that to there, and then yes. Which is stupid, right? Because I'm in the middle of a video, but that's the thing about my life, is that everything I do at any time, basically, unless it is something that, you know, I started and I am now locked into, I'm always doing it because I want to do it. And at any point I can drop it, right? You know, if I'm not feeling the writing that day, if I'm not feeling the video that day, if I don't want to, if I decide actually it's shit, I don't want to do this, I don't want to upload it. If I'm midway through a game and I decide, fuck it, you know, it's not going my way, I'm just gonna quit. I can do that, and I will do that, because, you know, to a certain extent, when you've been dealing so long with depression and you've spent so much time battling your own self-loathing and sort of in so much pain, feeling shat upon by so many people, at a certain point you stop doing things because you're obligated to and start doing them because you fucking want to. And the thing is that you can scream and shout and you can stamp your foot and you can get violent and it won't make a blind fucking bit of difference. I do what I want to do. End of. You know, it's to a certain extent, right? Even I can't make myself do something I don't want to do, right? You know, this is why very often when I'm sort of loudly repeating to myself that I will do or not do something, I'm often going to end up doing the opposite, because very often what I am doing there is I am trying to talk myself out of doing something, or trying to talk myself into doing something I don't really want to do, and it's like, come on, do this thing, important, yeah. And it's no, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to do it, so I'm not gonna do it, despite how much I may think I should do it, and despite how much I may want myself to do it. If I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. And that sounds incredibly counterintuitive, right? How can you agree that you should do a thing and feel like you should do a thing and yet not want to do a thing? Well, I suppose it's like I know I shouldn't have had that KFC chicken triple. I know I know I should not eat so many cakes and sweets. Still gonna though, because I want to. Right? I know that I should probably clean up a bit more often. Not gonna. It's there is a difference between thinking you should do something and acknowledging its necessity and actually wanting to do it. And because my life has sort of taught me to basically just do what I want because fuck it, right? You know. Um I mean, bear in mind, like, I'm not. I suppose for a certain extent, maybe this is why I'm so uptight about being moral. Because if you are someone who is so very much driven by want, maybe you do need to say, hang on, no, line, do not fucking cross. Maybe that's it. Maybe that is why I am not some horrible serial killer. Just on a whim, is because I have got this such extreme morality. I don't know, but I really probably shouldn't have said that to a whole bunch of Nazis who hate me and are stalking me and keep trying to find new ways to fuck with me. But anyway, point is, that as a result of this, fact of how I am as a person, I struggle when I don't really want to do something. And the issue I have at the moment is that I am trying to find a new motivation. I had a job and I don't have it anymore. And it's like, fuck. And I'm not freaking out yet because I was doing a thing before I got the job, and that thing that I was doing was watching Goodnight Sweetheart, watching The West Wing, and whilst I was at sort of work, I was watching Porridge. So I finished Goodnight Sweetheart last night, but I'm bugged. Today I still got Porridge and The West Wing to watch, so it's not like panic time. And of course, there's whilst I have been at work, whilst I have been watching Goodnight Sweetheart and all these other things, all the Let's Plays and stuff that I haven't been watching have been busy, sort of putting out episodes, and there are many a True Nerd episodes for me to watch now, which is fucking awesome because I love many a True Nerd. So it's not like I am at a loss for things to do, but when it comes to creatively, when it comes to the things that give me a sense of purpose, I'm sort of at a loss because things just aren't really clicking at the moment. My self-doubt is being a complete bitch, and it's almost, I suppose, almost to a certain extent, what I think I need to do is to almost just crap something out, right? I just, like, it's gonna be horrible and it's gonna be shit and I'm gonna hate it. But I just need to crap something out. Because the thing is that, like, I have been on a run of really quite good stories, in the sense that, The Toy Maker, The Qjoxy1MJ8TA Survivor, Fuzzy Logic, The Shrinking. And we're self-dawning, right? It's only 1,000 words, so it needs a fucking break, right? It needs a fucking break because I swear to fuck, if I ever finish it, it's gonna be like the Lord of the Rings, right? It's just gonna be not necessarily that it's my magnum opus, because, you know, I'm still 24. There is a lot more that I can write that will be better. But in the sense that so much of it has had so much work done on it already, and it's not even a third done, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's nearly a novel in length, and as far as I'm concerned, it's barely gotten to Act One. it's it's that kind of insane. At the same time, I've been working on this other thing, which is sort of this, I suppose, mini series, well, series of short stories that are sort of based on, you know, the first taking on this Trump analog of Richard Raspberry, and that's stalling for its own reasons. And I think I just need to crap something out, and I think I have something to crap out, metaphorically speaking, of course. Um, but the issue is that, you know, this has to be something that I can write with quick crippling self-doubt. This has to be something that I can write, you know, bunged up with a cold, with Nazis all around, in a state of utter change. Which means that it is pretentious as fuck. It is up its own arse. And, like, okay, the now infamous fanfic, Laura K. Buzz, Queen of the Earth. That's crap. But that's at least honest crap. That is at least crap that is attempting to tell a narrative and trying to tie into a wider thing and do a wider thing and a big thing and a doodah, the what's it, right? I can't do a big thing at the moment. I can't attempt to tell some grand story of, and this is, you know, this is one of the 100 million universes in which Lucy Dance saved and led people to revolution against the logistics. No, it's the only way I can get this done is if it's got a narrative and scope that is small and that's not going to be too ambitious. So it's going to be shit. Anyway, so that's why I've sort of been delaying things. There will be sort of more formal news videos coming, and they won't necessarily be scripted because, to a certain extent, scripting doesn't really work because I can't act for toffee, and I just end up going like, yes, and today there was a thing and it happened over there, and I'm going to say a thing now of thing. Yes, thing, of thing. Yes. It's very stilted. It's not really animate or whatever. And besides, let's face it, the rate at which things are going to start happening in the new year are such that I'm not gonna be able to script stuff. And particularly if I am going to be finishing off West of Dawning or doing these other things, then yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end this video off here, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some food in the oven. I'm gonna start chucking more stuff in the rubbish and begin making progress towards the move of at least a move around of the things. So I don't know when the actual transition of moving that to there will happen, but it will happen. So anyway, I have been me, you have been you, and goodbye.
Thank you to all my Patreons at patreon.com for helping to make videos like this possible. If you wish to leave a like or dislike to rate the video for my analytics, that would be much appreciated. Comments are always welcome, though be aware that they will be moderated before being published, so please be civil. If you liked this video, please consider adding it to your favourites, sharing it to your friends, or subscribing. If you wish to help me out or my channels, please consider whitelisting my videos in your adblock software, subscribing for monthly donations through Patreon, or giving a small one-off donation. Alternatively, I have a Steam wishlist for games I would consider let's playing or streaming, so if you would like to see me broken before the Dark Souls altar, or just happen to have gotten a duplicate of a game in a humble bundle, then you know what to do. I also have an official Facebook fan page, Twitter account, Tumblr, Reddit and blog, so you can stay up to date with all of my videos, blog articles and the things I care about. Links are in the video description. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I think that all that now needs to be said is ban all guns, institute universal basic income now, and ensure government is elected by proportional representation. Oh, and also fuck the racists and fuck the alt-right.